Hi, hello, good evening, everybody. I'm now getting ready for the summer holidays with my little ones. And one of the things that I unfortunately have to be constantly vigilant about when I'm with my children is the fact that my middle child has formally been diagnosed with autism. Now, this symbol I actually have on my arm, some people may know it, some people may not know it. No, it is not a real tattoo. Because of the state of my skin and the fact that I take so long to heal, I would never be able to have real tattoos. So on occasions, I have worn like transfers, and I also use them for like my art projects and things. Now, I picked this one, this morning, because we've been having a lot of issues with my son. Despite the fact that people may or may not be aware of what autism is, we are still struggling on a daily basis with people who are not happy to be amenable to the fact that he does have a tendencies to do and say things that may or may not cause offence. So both me and his dad, again, have had to deal with people who have not been educated about what autism is and how it affects people. Everyone with autism, just like with most disabilities, gets tarred with the same brush. So if somebody has a visual impairment, for example, everyone assumes that everyone who has a visual impairment, has got a white cane and a guide dog. Everyone believes that if you have a hearing impediment, that you are going to have hearing aids or going to need an interpreter, because not everyone knows how to do sign language, which I think needs to be on the national curriculum. So it really does annoy me that we are still, despite him being 8, despite the fact that a lot of people know us within our local community, that we are still getting the tuts, we're still getting the dirty looks, we're still getting the comments made like, oh, can't you control your child? Oh, if he can't behave in public, you need to keep him locked up. Yes, we have had people say that to us. And if anyone had been following the way that even our local MPs for Warwickshire County Council have treated the younger generation who have got SEN needs by basically saying there's no such thing as a disabled child, we just think it's because the parents are shit, which was pretty much the comments that were made. That, in my day and age, if a child misbehaved like they did today, we'd beat them up. Well, I'm sorry, we live in 2024, not 1824, and I just think that it's absolutely disgusting how people are treated. Okay, we try really, really hard as parents to treat all of our children the same. So even though my son has got autism, we will say to him, okay, we're in the library. What is the main important thing to do when you're in the library? And he'll say, to use my indoor voice. And we'll be like, well done. But that does not mean that on occasions he won't be making his clicks or his whistles or his, woohoo! Oh, look at that book over there, Mum. Whoa, what's in that window? Oh, what's that say? Whoa, what's that? And he may even have Tourette's. He has never turned around and said to somebody, fuck off, which we're really, really happy about. But, and even when we say, oh, he's probably got a bit of Tourette's, people again assume that everyone with Tourette's does nothing but swear. That's not the case. There are different variations of Tourette's, just like with autism, that affect people on a daily basis. And with my son, he is always, always happy. But he is super happy. I mean, he is just the most happiest child in the world. But then when he's sad, which isn't very often, he is like mega sad. It's like living with somebody who had just had their pet cat die, or a family member had passed away. Sad. I'm talking like so inconsolable to the point where there's nothing you can do or say. You've just literally got to try and help them and give them the space to work through it. So during the summer holidays, can people please be a little bit more vigilant? Okay, anyone who has got children off over the next 6 weeks is going to be working really, really hard to try and make sure that these next 6 weeks are as stress-free as possible. That doesn't mean that we all want our children to have what I call spoilt brat syndrome or let's be a twat syndrome. But at the same time, a lot of parents have had to take time off work. The cost of living is through the roof. And I would never subject my children. I mean, today was really, really hot. And even though we only took them to the park, they were like, no, I'm tired, I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, I want to go home. So we know full well that they would never be able to sit in the car for 2 hours or 3 hours to go to the seaside if it was as hot as it was today, especially with my son having sensory processing disorder. So please be vigilant. Please just be a little bit courteous. And I think, everybody could do with being a little bit more courteous of each other and more aware. And yes, there may or may not be people out there who are also aware of the lanyards that children or adults may wear that genuinely has sunflowers on. The ones that I'm currently using have daisies. That's just they're on special offer. And again, seeing somebody with a lanyard that has sunflowers on is a key indication that that person may or may not have a hidden disability. Now, over the next 6 weeks, I will try and do things with my children. I don't just want them to stay at home all the time. So one of the reasons, obviously, I've put this temporary tattoo on my arm is, like I said, because yesterday and this morning, the way me and his dad have been treated has just been absolutely disgusting. And, and when people talk about, oh, this has happened or that has happened, sometimes you don't know whether to believe them or not. But then I think to myself, well, hang on a minute, I know how evil and how, people can be to one another, especially when they're, poorly educated, which a lot of people are. So when you are constantly facing what I've been facing, which is disability discrimination in the workplace, it's bad enough everywhere else in life, but in the workplace as well, bearing in mind, you will spend so much of your life working if you're lucky enough to get a job. So, you go from school to work, higher education if you're lucky, and you don't want to be a victim of disability discrimination or bullying or, unfair treatment. At the end of the day, we're all here to survive, to make the best of our lives. So I don't see the point of making people's lives miserable. And I mean, some of the things that used to happen to me at work were just, it was literally not working with adults, so we say. It was like being in preschool. It was just so childish and so pathetic. But I don't want to get into that. What I want to focus on is, it's the next 6 weeks. It's the summer holidays. Please be vigilant of the fact that there will be children off school with SEN needs. And even those that haven't, not every child is going to be a pillar of the community. Not every child is going to have rosy cheeks and be wearing a halo. All right? When they're tired, you know about it. So just be a little bit more aware or a little bit more courteous. And again, parents as well with kids like myself, if I think my kids are going to be entitled little anyway, then I've already told them, you will not go out. You kick off, you behave in a manner that we believe to be not related to your autism or the fact that you're just being a little so-and-so, then you'll go home. Because again, I don't want people not to criticise me, but again, I wouldn't want to be in a room with a child that's screaming their head off. So it swings and roundabouts, but I do think, over the next 6 weeks, it's going to be really stressful for a lot of people. And with, like I said, the cost of living going up, there are going to be parents out there that aren't entitled to half codes or, discounts or be able to take their children anywhere. So they might end up just playing in the back garden or being in the house or going to the local park. So again, I think, care and due diligence is really important. And a lot of that kind of, again, didn't happen during lockdown. If you know that your next door neighbour's got children, just say hi. I'm not saying be their best friend or live in their pockets, but 6 weeks and you don't see those kids, I'm going to be thinking, well, if they've not gone on holiday, where are they? So again, I think safeguarding should be another thing that people need to be a little bit vigilant of during the summer holiday. I'm not saying be a nosy Parker. I'm just saying, be vigilant. And I miss that about the community. When I was younger, we must have known every single child in the street. If you asked me how many children live in my street now and who they are and who their parents are, I couldn't tell you. I know absolutely no one in my street. I know they have children, but I don't know their names. I don't know what school they go to. I know absolutely nothing. Whereas when I was a child, my mom, my dad, we knew every single person. We were friends with them. We would go to each other's houses. We'd have parties. We'd have picnics in the park. The social dynamics have just changed so much over the last 20, 25 years. And people don't know each other anymore. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but it can be quite isolating. So I will be doing something at home with my children and then going out. So if I can share any tips or tricks or whatever, or advice or guidance, I will be sharing that on social media. I believe Saints in town where I live in Nuneaton, they've got a few events going on for young people. And they are one of the more well-known charitable organisations in Nuneaton. And I know that Nuneaton itself has got a few events taking place. And I know that places like Hinckley and Atherstone, which again are local to where I live, they've also got events going on in Coventry. Most of them, realistically, even if we had to catch public transport, we should be able to get to within a 2-hour time frame. But again, just be safe, be well, be happy, and enjoy your summer. So good night for now, and take care of you.